Do you want to sit and have a coffee with me? As long as you don't slurp your coffee, you'll be fine. I notice as you get older, you talk to yourself more. I notice as you get older, you slurp more. I notice as you get older, you breathe strange as you get older. And then I think, oh, I'm turning into my dad. My dad just did all of those things. Definitely something in our genes and in the memory of who we are and what we've come from, who we came from. So although there is a loving side to me as there is to you, there's also, if you had a father figure who was maybe a little bit abusive or not so nice, sometimes you can have that memory within you, you know, am I turning into this person? Quite, yeah, but it's good to check yourself. It's good. Anyway, by the by, I'm having a coffee. Welcome everybody to Mark Bajerski YouTube Live. Hopefully we won't talk about anything too challenging so that YouTube takes us off. So let's just make it happy-go-lucky, and I'd like to offer myself, I'd like to offer somebody a date from me, a date. Would anybody like to have a date with me? It's just, I don't know, it's just something I'd like to offer. Would anybody like a date? No? That no? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, we'll share it together, okay? Okay, I'll bite first. You have a bite now. It's lovely having a date together, isn't it? There you go. Now, don't be a prune. Don't be a prune. I was just joking. I was kidding. There's reasons why I said it. More raisins. There's more raisins to not to shop at More Raisins. And if you've got a sweet tooth, guys, it's gone. It's to bite into a couple of them, which I'll eat later. You won't have you'll have no craving for sugar because that's your sweet and it's natural. As natural as you're going to get it anyway. Yeah, natural sugar, which is unfortunately a really ridiculous fight and argument because of the idea that refined sugar is the same as fruit sugars. It's absolutely not. It's not. It's nothing like it at all. Refined sugar is poison to the body. Basically, you're poisoning your body like you're eating. It's like giving rat poison to a rat. It's the same thing. It really is. But natural fruits, you know, when you're looking at natural fruits like this, lovely apricot, natural, you can't really see it, but lovely natural apricot, and some cherries, some lovely cherries, a nice peach. Always good to have a little bit of marks here and there on your peaches, and a little bit of, you know, marks here and there, because that shows that's natural. So when you're getting them perfect, you know it's Monsanto. Lovely. This is Lily's favourite. So, cheers everybody. Listen to the silence. I'm just going to pick that apricot up. Give that a wash in a bit, and Lily's on hand watching. Aren't you, Lily? I know she's here now. Come on in. What do you see? You love your Nispero, eh? I kid you not. It is her favourite, without a doubt. She loves all fruit apart from orange. She's not a fan of orange, but she's a massive. Loves it. Absolutely loves it. She loves all fruit. Cherry. Loves it. Eh? You love your fruit. You love your fruit and vegetables. Of course she loves the meat. Don't look at me and think, oh, because you don't eat meat, you don't feed your dog meat. She eats the best meat. She has grass-fed, organic, everything, and fresh fish. Of course she does, because that's who she is. She's a doggy. Dandeva? What's up? Woof. What's woof? We're protecting the land, eh? So, what are you all up to? Yeah, she cherry picks as well, definitely. So today, not that you bothered, I've done 170 bottles of purifying oil, 170 bottles of energizing oil. So yeah, I'm not exhausted. I've just worked, full on, taken Lily out a few times for walks, and she's all nicely fed now. But yeah, great, because we had a special offer for, I think it was a month or 2 weeks, I can't remember. And it was so well received that I thought I'd made enough bottles for about 3 or 4 months, but basically they just about sold out, all of them, because the price was like giving it away. Well, it was giving it away. I was giving it away. I didn't make a penny on them. So of course it was well received, and I was happy to do it. I'm happy that people can receive something so beautiful and work with the oils. I haven't done any videos. Did I do a video? Well, oh yeah, I was at Banana Kitchen this morning, of course. Nice. Of course I was. And I did a little video. They live, if you haven't seen that, they live. And then the one before was They Walk Amongst Us. Yeah, just my thoughts. But I've decided when I go to Bali, I'm going to start an in-depth book about starting as a healer and recognizing what I believe, and now I'm sharing it with people, my belief that I am not like a paedophile. What's inside a paedophile, what's inside that body, who is a paedophile, or somebody who does the most heinous things and smiles and enjoys it, they don't come from the same spirit realm as me. And I'm going to write a book, an in-depth book of what I believe, why I believe, and what to watch out for, who to watch out for, what are the signs of somebody that may come from a very, very bad place in the universe, that their love of abuse, which it is a love, and you've got to understand this. You've got to understand this, or else you'll never get it. Their love for abuse is your love to hug somebody or to make love to your wife or your soulmate, whatever you want to call it, somebody that you love. That love, that feeling of that hug, that need that gives you, re-energizes you, makes you feel wonderful and makes you feel as if this is the purpose of life. Those that I talk about, those that live amongst us, they have the same feeling, but for doing the worst things that they can do. I'll give you a great example. You look at most politicians, most leaders, and they will lie, and they will enjoy lying. So they will blatantly say something like, I mean, there's so many of them that lie all the time, but take, for instance, remember Bill Clinton? I did not have sex with Monica Lewinsky, right? And you could see he's a monster. That was a monster. That's not a human being. That's a monster inside the body. And you know, again, there is an in-depth conversation, a side conversation to this, that there are some people that will do the same thing but have regret because they were, let's say, messed up in their mind, real abuse or mind control, or it could be that they've got attachments, they've got entities because they're on drugs or alcohol. But I think the difference by the ones that I'm talking about is the ones that do it because they know they can and they want to do it. And the only regret is getting caught. And it isn't really regret, but but what I'm saying is that, I guess that's what I'm saying. You have to figure the rest out for yourself. But yeah. The more you think about it, you've got to go away and meditate on it. You've got to think about it. You've really got to meditate on it. And for me, it's all about unlearning. At 38 years old, it was the hardest thing for me to unlearn. Why? Because it is. But what you're talking about? Yeah, but it is. Yeah, but why is it? Because, well, everybody knows that. Everybody knows what? Everybody knows that. So you have to clear that. And that's a hard thing to unlearn what everybody knows. Like, yeah, of course we all come from, God made us and we're all one. We're all the same. Are we? Really? Yeah, everybody knows that. No, we're not all one, mate. No, we're not. I'm sorry, pal, but we're not. And that to me has more, that has more validation. That has more, it makes more sense than you're trying to tell me that, you know, people have free will and they can do what they want. There's a difference when you see somebody doing something cruel and hurtful, like, you know, and I'm not, don't please put me in any category with religion or politics. Don't do that. Don't insult my intelligence. That is what mainstream media want you to do. Oh, it's the Palestinians. Oh, it's the Muslims. No, it isn't. Stop buying into that bullshit. There is evil monsters that reside within the spacesuit. That's it. There is good, kind, caring people that would not do and will not do anything bad. And he ain't from God. There's a lot of there's tons and tons and tons of monsters who abuse, and I often say to them, it's a pleasure. To them, it's the thought of what they are doesn't even enter their head. It's like standing on an ant to them. It's nothing. It has nothing. It means nothing. Whereas to you and me, if we make a little child cry in any way, we're panicking. We're, are you okay? Oh my God, you know, there's a difference. Don't say he comes from the same God as me. He doesn't. God never made him. God may have made a spacesuit, may have made these vessels, but what comes into them and where from pedophiles, Satanists who abuse kids and rape and do the most horrendous things, eyes wide shut, for this power, for this love of watching people suffer, and gluttony and greed in that respect. It's horrendous. And the stories that I sat through many years ago, listening to what they did to people and how they did it and how they do it. Yeah, those that come from the same place as me know what they're going to. They know what's happening. They can feel it and know something's very, very wrong. And their consciousness keeps telling them, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. Because if you don't, something really bad's going to happen. And there are stages of many of these covens, these satanic events that happen all over the world all the time. And it's a catch. They're trying to catch fish. They're trying to catch purity. They're trying to catch innocence. They're trying to catch those that are loved and respected, because they want to change them. They want to abuse them, and they want to bring them into this satanic realm. Can't do it with love. So you do it with games, offer them everything that they want. And the stages that they go through, it's a kind of grooming thing till they now know you're ready. And then you will perform the acts that they want you to. And then that's it, it's done. Your power is gone. Your pureness is gone. You are now part of that for all eyes to see, eyes wide shut, meaning eyes wide open. They've seen what you've just done. And the stories that I used to hear of those that I read for, famous people that I read for, and they told me stories of their famous friends, what they went through. And other friends confirm this over 20 years, story after story. One day maybe you'll yeah, I mean, you have to be careful what you say, because I could point to certain stories and tell you things that are just, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to even say it, because I don't want to start causing, I don't want to draw attention, but it's bad. It's really bad. So yeah, to bring awareness, to say that we don't all come from God, and it's not always about turning into the devil or being satanic. It is the nature of what's inside the spacesuit that you've got to understand. And once you understand that, everything makes sense. It's like, for me, it was the final piece. So there you go. It's a beautiful day here in the mango farm. I'll let you listen to the silence for a moment. You'll probably be able to hear me eat. It's that still. And that's the beauty about living in the campo. And that's why they don't want us to live in the campo. They don't want us to live out here. That's why they want to poison and cause as much issue outside. They want to drive us into this new idea of new cities. So we're all easily maneuvered like mice. Easier to control, easier to manipulate. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys saw China. I mean, China is so scary. It really is really freaking frightening how China is taking over the world. Their plans, their long-term plans, you know, we'll come and do these roads for you, but we want this off you. It's really, really, if you think about it, it won't take them long. It'll only take them a few generations before they actually invade and basically take over the world just by genius chess moves. It's quite scary. And if you look at China now, it's basically, it's finished, it's gone. It is such a controlled AI nightmare that you can't even go from district to district. It's an actual replica thereabouts of the Hunger Games, where they had districts and you couldn't go in. You literally have to go through turnstiles now, and you've got to look at a screen, and if you've said anything wrong on social media, you ain't going out. Talk about a prison, guys. And that's what they're creating all over the world with smart cities. They're not smart. They're not smart. There's nothing smart. They are real slave cities. So when you see these, like if a monster, one of those monsters that they live amongst us is watching this now, and if he sees me doing this, showing this, he'll be so angry. He'll be like, I've got to get these rats out of there and I've got to stick them into somewhere. Like the bully in the playground as a kid. He couldn't stand seeing people happy. He couldn't stand people getting off and on the swing with joy and letting each other play and just living in complete harmony and balance. He was like, comes from a different place, guys. He doesn't come from all the same place where they say we all come from God. We're all in God's eyes. No, we're not. That monster is a monster, and he feeds off pain and suffering, and his holy water burning him is him watching people love each other. That is his nightmare. That's why he wants to burn everything, because that is his heaven. His hell is his heaven. He doesn't love beauty. He wants to rape beauty. He wants to destroy beauty, because he comes from a different place than you and I. And that consciousness is dark, super dark. You know, I often get people, you know, when I've done these videos, send me a message and say, what can we do? And I always refer back to the playground. The playground scenario is normally how everything is. We haven't changed just because we're older and we've got grayer, and we're still the same. It's still the same playground. It's just bigger. But it's still as sophisticated. Even as kids, it's sophisticated. The bully knows exactly what he's doing. He's watching. He's watching the teacher, watching any kids who might say anything. He's watching all the time. And then he's got 2 or 3 other kids that are petrified of him doing his bidding. Nothing's changed, guys. So, you know, when you ask me, they're like, well, what's the answer? There is no answer, really. It is what it is. This is how it is. You alone have your story. You have your journey. Is the bully going to pick on you today? Are you going to get stronger so that he doesn't pick on you anymore? The answer is probably not. You're not. Because most of us, we're not built to become strong and fight. We're built to be in love and harmony. So it's a challenge for us. And actually, if you did get stronger and more powerful and, you know, and you did hurt somebody, you'd feel bad. You'd feel bad that you even hurt the bully. You'd feel as if like you were worse than the bully, because we have a conscience, we have empathy, and it's not in our nature. It's just not in our nature. So what do you do? What happens in the playground? Well, most of the time the bully gets away with it. How many times do the whole of the school playground come together and stand and look at the bully and say, if you touch one of us, you touch all of us? How many times does that happen? Never. Very rarely. Very rarely. And that's why they get away with it. They get away with it because it's free and easy to cause havoc. It's easy to manipulate. It's easy to bully. You think your government loves you and cares for you? You really think that? They are the biggest abusers in the world. They're the biggest mafia, but covered in this ideology of that they're caring for you. They don't care for you. They just keep you so that you just eat enough to be able to go to work. And if you're lucky to have 2 weeks off and pay your taxes every month, pay your taxes, so they can get all that money. They can get the power and do what they want. So that's how they look at us. They walk amongst us, and they're normally at the highest positions in the world. Look at that monster called George Soros. Monster. That's he's one of them. For sure, he's one of them. No conscience, no soul. He is a soulless being that comes from somewhere else. He is not made of the same God as me. And if you look at somebody like George Soros, we could talk about Bill Gates and Fauci, and that these are the monsters that have no feeling. So they can kill 50 million people. That's, to them, that's power. That's power. Okay, so they're nothing like you and I. Nothing like you and I. So when you look at somebody like George Soros, he's the pinnacle, he's an example, because there's a lot more darker than him, but he's a dark one. It destroys the idea of religion. It destroys the idea of ideology. It destroys the idea of everything, because these monsters believe wholeheartedly that they are supreme beings. They literally believe that they are a god. They do. Do you think Bill Gates doesn't think he's a god? He thinks he's a god in his consciousness. And we are all flies on a wall. We're just nothing. That's why they do what they do. George Soros doesn't care about where he was born. He doesn't care about people. He cares about causing destruction and creating his world, which is a world of evil and hell on earth, because that's what that consciousness is inside him. And how they get away with it is because they talk about God. God being, we all come from the same place. We're all made, so we need to forgive him. Or well, he's Jewish, so them Muslims, He don't give a shit about anybody, only his own power. He would sell his grandmother if she was alive. He's a monster. He's one of the monsters, and there's many of them. And they always drive for power. They always drive to be in control. They always drive to cause the most suffering in the ants that are walking along, just doing their things. They're just getting on, they're working hard. And these monsters that walk amongst us will step on them like you and me. They'll step on them, kill them all, and feel pleasure. Feel like they've done something worthy. And that's what people just don't get. But I will write a book one day about all of these things. And maybe there are people who genuinely may sit and think, that sounds more plausible. Because, hang on a minute. Yeah, Mark mentioned the guy called George Soros. Didn't he, in the Second World War, sprag on all his people that were, I don't know. Anyway, you know what I mean. The guy was a monster. Had no thought and feeling about going to the SS and saying this Jewish family did this. And can you imagine how many beautiful families forget religion, forget about who they are, Jewish, non-Jewish. Just think about all those that he had killed. Monsters don't have remorse. And you know, the fact that we don't understand that is because we always measure ourselves to others. And that's why we go, well, I can't believe they would do that. I wouldn't do that. There's no way they would do that because I wouldn't do it. No, they would, because they're not like you. And that's how they get away with it. That's how humanity loses all the time. Well, oh no, he couldn't possibly do that. No, don't measure yourself. Why are you measuring yourself? Because we all come from God. We're all from God. Ah, that's very clever, isn't it? That's very clever. Very clever. Very clever. Now you understand. Now you get it. This idea of religion and God and different countries and different people in them countries. It's genius. It is the perfect. It's the most perfect way to distract everybody from what I'm talking about. Right. I love you all. And I'm wishing you a lovely, lovely day. Food for thought, something to ponder on. I don't mind if you have your own thoughts and feelings and you think it's complete bullshit that I'm talking. I don't mind. It's just my understanding. And hey, it's a free world. Hear me speaking. Okay, I'm shadow banned. I get it. Only 100 people are watching this. I get it. Right. And I'll never grow any further because of my conversation. So yeah, you're right. We're not free. We're limited. We have a limited freedom. That's be soon gone. We all know that. It's just about gone. Our children won't be free. That's the problem, because people are too frightened. And I've just given you the reason why nothing will ever change, because they've covered all bases. Their chess moves are genius. They're 20 moves ahead all the time. But there are some of us who see through all the bullshit. And the genius of what they've done to humanity and influence them, because it's so easy to influence them. So easy. It's so quick to influence people who have no understanding, who don't see anything. There's so many YouTube videos of how easy it is to influence a person. Do you remember the girl going for the interview? She sits down and there's a whole room of people who sat down, and then a bell goes off and everybody stands up, and she looks at everybody confused, and then they all sit down. And then it happens again, the bell goes off again, and she's still confused and looking at everybody. They all stand up and then they all sit down. And then I think on the third or fourth time or fifth time, she stands up. And one by one, each person leaves, goes for their interview. And when the bell goes, she gets up and sits down. Now nobody at all is in that room, only her. And the bell goes off and she stands up and sits down. And then somebody comes in. The bell goes off, she stands up, sits down, and somebody says, "What are you doing?" She says, "Well, everybody else was doing it." That's how fucking easy it is to manipulate souls. And they know it. These monsters know it. And they know that they can get away with anything. And you know, they want to get away with it. That's the whole point. If you ask any monster, why did you hurt that child? Why did you rape that woman? Because I can. Because I want to. They're different, guys. They're not from God. They're not made up from God. Anyway, I love you all. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. Again, food for thought. You may have a different take on it, and that's okay. That's good. Till tomorrow. Bye from the farm. In the sound of silence.